Excuse me. Thank you for watching. Here on YouTube at Blooming Light. I do apologize. Um, the screen is shaking and moving. I normally have it on like a tripod, but this was just so random, and I wanted to stop and just share a little bit of a clip. Okay, I know YouTube don't really allow, due to copyright, I can't just sit and play the whole movie with y'all, but this movie is called Abigail. All right, and I think I think this could have come out in 2024. I'm not sure. So before I share the clip of the scene that made me really feel like, as gruesome as this little girl was, that she is like the wounded inner child, the shadow of divine feminine, gone rogue. In other words, being targeted. She had come from wealth. I think her father, or at least so it appeared, that her father was someone of wealth, and isolated and alone. And people always come for folks they feel like are isolated and alone, or people that they feel like they can get, some kind of a money for. And so she's this little 12-year-old ballerina, or so it seems. And these hitmen were hired. There was like 6, I think, hitmen were hired to go and kidnap her after her ballet recital, because no one was ever there. There was this limousine picking her up and taking her home, and her parents or her father that has this money or whatever seems to never be around. So they grabbed her, they yelled, they scared her, they tranquilized her, they threatened her, and she was just this seemingly 12-year-old little girl. Okay. Now in this scene, come to, in the movie, you all know that Abigail, like, she's actually a vampire or some kind of a monster. She's pretending and playing like a little girl. Something must have happened to her as a little girl, and she turns into a monster. Okay. So she's actually brutal and has collected bodies and has killed many hitmen that have come for her. And first, she's like this trap. She looks helpless and hopeless. They kidnap her, they scream, they intimidate her, they tranquilize her, and she's crying. But that was all a trap. Okay. Weird stuff started to happen, one by one, these hitmen get knocked off. And they didn't know how or who, because they're like, well, who's here? What's doing this? How is this happening? And these are powerful hitmen now, okay? We ain't talking about no lightweights, okay? Powerful hitmen. And then something happens where, like, I think they discovered, like, where she gets caught or something. They're like, what the fuck? So they start freaking out, like, what the shit is this? So, because she's actually a monster, okay? But she appears to be a little girl, okay? And it made me think of divine feminine shadow, her inner child, wounded inner child, the potential, the veracity of the power that the powers that be know she has, okay? Gone rogue. So in other words, power to destroy, okay? Once provoked too far. So this little girl, she's gonna make a statement, even though in the movie she's a monster. She's not a little girl. I think something could have happened to her, and so she has the form of a little girl's body, but she's not, okay? But she's about to say something to them, as they say, okay, we're sorry. We didn't know who you were. We didn't woo-de-woo. We just thought you were just a regular little girl. Now watch this.
Tell us how to get out of here, and we'll let you go. Hey, what's gonna happen to me? Am I gonna turn into a vampire? Maybe.
Those are hitmen.
Oh my
Two of them.
God, he's
She's already killed like the other 4 or something like that.
Ma'am, whatever.
He said, ma'am.
Okay? Didn't know who you were. Thought you were just a regular 12-year-old girl.
You were gonna beat me and torture me when you thought I was just a regular 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, well.
Pause. Pause on that. Sit on that one. Just meditate. Let it marinate. Because as monstrous as she is, because she is a monster, as monstrous as she is, but she is speaking the truth in that statement. She is going to highlight their own grotesque nature, what they were willing to do to a 12-year-old little girl. Okay? Now, because she overheard, them plotting to kill her, and it was just one of the ladies out of the hitmen, she said, absolutely not. One of the women was like, absolutely not. We will not be doing that. Okay? We're not killing some little girl for nothing. Okay? But everybody else was like, whoa, they had 7 million each, and they on, kidnapping her and trying to get ransom. But they were going to torture her, make her cry. They had already wrestled her and tranquilized her, was intimidating her. All this 12-year-old little girl. Now, why I want to stop on that? Because I find it fascinating how criminals, these are high-level hitmen, okay? Understand. Ain't nobody offering them 7 million each because they low budget. Okay? These are high-level hitmen. So this is something they do for a living. And it is funny how, they want to apologize and get the sudden cases because they were getting their ass whooped. Niggas was, she ripped a nigga's head off. She ripped a nigga's head. She didn't cut it, she ripped it. The rest of his body is at the table, bitch. Yes, sir. She started whooping their ass. Now that they know, and she does it like with ballerina style and shit, so she'll do a little move and shit. And like, I was like, this is crazy. And then kill him. Shit, the fuck. But the point I'm making here is this. That's humanity for you. Now they want to negotiate. Now that they see that they can get got. Now that they see that they actually fell into a trap. Because see, I haven't even seen this full movie yet, but I believe that this was a trap. It was just a trap. And it banked on their lust for money. It banked on their lust for money. It banked on their greed. It banked on that. It banked on them not having no morals, no sense of morals whatsoever, no regard to how that little girl was going to be traumatized because the price was right. It was $7 million per hitman. So, in other words, the price, hold on. In other words, the price is right. And forget that this is some little fragile little girl. $7 million is worth it. So it was a trap to get, I think there was like maybe 8 of them trapped and like killed, because she had like this area, and whatever this mansion is, it's a whole lot of dead bodies. I believe, I haven't seen the end of the movie, these are hitmen that's been sent to her over time, and they fall into the trap, and she killed them. And she's this sweet little innocent girl. They wait for she's vulnerable while she's out and about doing the things that she normally does, because that's what they did. So they scoped the scene, monitored her movement, and waited to go in a vulnerable moment when she's least expecting it with the attempt to kidnap. And they did. Abigail. I really believe that that's a message that's happening possibly. I mean, of course, not literally. This is a movie, and I don't think divine feminines are monsters. I think divine feminines karmics are monsters that wanted to turn her into a monster. But now what has happened is that shadow, that veracity, the dark side on behalf of divine feminine is going to destroy them all. They wanted her to become like them. This is a part of the little science project. They wanted her to become just like them. They wanted to see, we weird. We're sorry niggas and bitches with badges. But let's do, and let's watch and monitor, bitch. If we do the, let's see what happens. Let's see how far we can go with this. Let's play God. They ain't expecting this. Just like in this movie, and motherfuckers got scared, scrambling, hiding, trying to figure out what the hell to do exactly. You went in thinking you were dealing with a little girl. An isolated, alone, fragile little girl that certainly couldn't take down an adult, but most certainly couldn't take down 8, and most certainly couldn't take down somebody 270 pounds. She brought them niggas to their knees. As they all came against her, she whooped their ass several times, bitch. And this last time, the biggest guy, he had to hurl, after she was whooping, tearing them up, he had to come hurl out, because she's tiny, she is little. He had to come hurling out and like put his physical force. He had to try to jump on her body to get her, and he still struggled. That speaks volumes. He still struggled. And they had to help him so that they can tranquilize her one last time, which is what you all were seeing. And they put her in this cage, which is where, we're at now. They're trying to negotiate, because now they're like, okay, we ain't understanding. This is not what we thought we would sign up for. And whoa. And I love her statement. I love it, because that's probably the side of divine feminine's inner child speaking after people try to cage her and tame her and claim that she's all these things, yet they target her and abuse her and violate her and make plans to do all sorts of insidious shit in order to get money to her. And when she whooped their ass good and plenty, when hell and chaos begin to reign and rule in people's lives, they were called her crazy. And I like that she speaks and says, okay, I'm listening to you. So what you're simply telling me is you are willing to torture and beat when you thought I was just a 12-year-old little girl. You're not really helping your case, nigga. Because what you're saying is you're a fucking predator. And you're looking at me because I can kill you. You're looking at me. I'm doing economy a favor. You all target innocent people. And now you want to negotiate. Now you want to talk, nigga? Now you want to talk? Why? Because I can beat your ass without leaving the living room? That's what happens. See, sometimes you play science project too long, huh? And you don't know what to do. Let's hear that statement one more time.
Yeah, well,
Okay, boom.
What the fuck is gonna happen to me? Huh? What's gonna happen to me? No.
She put on her ballerina dress. Y'all gotta see this movie. I'm like, did she really do a spin and a fucking plie, bitch? And then she comfort a ass, boy. And then she laughs, like this sinister laugh. So you see, like she's a small frame little girl in the physical, right?
Please let me out. I'm scared. Cut the shit. You're really good at pretending to be like.
Oh, wow.
2 centuries of experience.
She said, how many centuries? 2 centuries? I didn't catch that.
I will let you go. Hey, what's gonna happen to me?
She bit her.
Am I gonna turn into a vampire? Maybe. Oh my god! He said maybe!
listen, little lady, ma'am, whatever. We're very sorry, okay? We didn't know who you were. We thought you were just a regular 12-year-old girl.
You were gonna beat me and torture me when you thought I was just a regular 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, well,
What?
like I said, we're very sorry. We would never have taken you if we knew who your father was.
Oh.
You did work for him, didn't you?
Oh, shit. Because her father was a known criminal, like a big time. So they did fuck with her wrong.
Jesus Christ.
They dumb,
There
huh?
was never any money. I planned all of this.
Didn't I say it's a trap?
Whatever works for me.
What the
What are you
fuck?
talking about?
Oh, because she's not a little girl. What the hell?
What did you just call me? Jessica Hurley. You started your career.
So she's got ammo on each of them. Good gravy.
Hedge funds came next, then private offshore accounts, and eventually.
What did it say? Hold on.
One in particular.
Hold on a minute, I'm recording, Mom.
Career siphoning money from your.
Did she say, oh, I knew it was a trap. See, I haven't seen this whole movie, but it's making more sense.
You started your
Again?
career.
Darrell, okay, I'm trying to hear this, dude.
What are you talking about? Don't you know? Jesse. What did you just call me? Jessica Hurley. You started your career siphoning money from your affluent parents' bank accounts. Hedge funds came next, then private offshore accounts, and eventually much bigger fish. One in particular.
Shit.
I can give it back.
Oh.
Terrence LaCroix, muscled for the Montreal Broussard family. Did it worry you?
Wow.
Snapping next for pay, thought you could infiltrate our New York arm under a deep cover. But you liked the life a little too much, didn't you? The power you had when you were free of rules and regulations.
Uh-oh, she's
Became an
pissed.
addiction.
And she's clocking, she's
When we
clocking it
finally
up.
arrested our 3 lieutenants, you worked so hard to get close to. And how empty did you feel after I ripped up their bodies in the hotel penthouse because of you? You changed your name, you left town, and you never saw your family again. But it wasn't for their safety, was it, Detective Barrett?
Damn. Ouch.
We have the tragic Ana Lucia Cruz, former Army medic, drummed out of service for shooting up Uncle Sam's wedding. His injuries in the field. You tried to take care of your son before abandoning him to his fuck up of a father. You became an underground doctor for some very shady people.
I'll come and get him in a second,
Just
girl.
lied to your job and instead
I know, I'll come and get him in a second for you.
very important to my father's business split out. But you and Detective Barrett have something in common. You never went back for your son. Shut the fuck up!
What do you tell yourself, huh? You want to be your daddy's little errand girl? No, he did lose interest in you. That wasn't a lie. How many of your father's enemies do you think you're gonna have to kill until he loves you again?
Wow, okay. So, anyways, I didn't mean to get too far deep into the movie there, but so as I suspected, it was a trap. As I suspected, it had something to do with who these people had violated in history. And so she was bait. She knew that, you know, people would come in for a frail little girl, and it seems like an easy enough job. And that would be how she gets her revenge, because she knew inevitably they would do this. They would come for her. And in, you know, wow, damn, them not knowing, because see, that's the element. Like, these people were intelligent. These people, like I said, they were not, you know what I'm saying, no low budget bounty hunters here. We ain't talking about some wannabe thug and some wannabe gangster or some wannabe thug bones and tragedy. Okay? These were legit. They had a history of taking people out, taking people down, doing, you know, nefarious deals. Okay? They did not anticipate that there would be power bigger than their muscle, bigger than their numbers, bigger than their weapons, that will get them at their weakest and most vulnerable moment. And in an ironic way, it's karmic justice, because they target people in their weak and vulnerable moments. They use their power and their leverage and them knowing everything and all of their weaponry and having all of the resources and the edge in order to corner and take down weak or, you know, vulnerable individuals. So it's karmic justice for them to have their weakness exploited. It's karmic justice for them to be overpowered by something as small as seemingly a 12-year-old little girl. Don't get me wrong. I am not encouraging anyone in this universe to go out there and be Abigail and to go out there and break any laws. This is information purposes. It's symbolism. It's spiritual. You definitely don't want to get yourself caught up, and you definitely want to be safe. But a lot of the things I believe that's happening is symbolism. It's spiritual, it's energetic. In other words, these people getting caught up, these people getting taken down, brought to their knees, okay, is kind of symbolism. They came in for innocent life. They came in for someone vulnerable, someone childlike. They came in for people or for someone they feel is alone and inept or underdeveloped because maybe they have been doing shit to stop the development. So it is justice when these kind of motherfuckers get knocked on their ass. It is. I don't want nobody, I ain't trying to hear nothing about people saying you shouldn't wish no harm. People are so fake. You should not wish any harm on anybody. I don't wish any harm on anybody. Most of the time that's a lie. So if somebody come and murder your whole household, you mean to tell me you're not wishing no harm on the person that have come to murder your entire household? You mean to tell me you simply just want to learn their lesson? Want them to learn their lesson? You expect me to believe that? They came for her. And I'm just going to highlight that. They came for her, not the other way around. And she banked on them doing just that, coming for her. Because that's what lowlives do. They plot, they scheme, and they plan, and they target. That's what they do. That is the nature of their existence. So that's how I feel nowadays. When people who have history of violating people, when they finally start to get caught up, I'm somewhere smiling. Because chances are it ain't even remotely close to what they actually deserve. So when they start to get some of that stuff, I'll be like, it's just getting good and started. Because bullies aren't dealt with by passivity. They're not dealt with by lectures and talks and threats and discussions. That is not how you deal with predators. It's not how you deal with bullies. They understand one language. Okay? Predators do not have a moral compass. And if you think you're going to go in with any of that, they're fooling you, and they look at you as weak for even thinking so. You're not going to find some tender spot. You're not about to, get any of that. They only understand one language. Bullies understand one language. In some cases, when you can't ignore bullies, it might work. But if it's something where you have to be subject to them constantly in one way or another, that's not going to work very long. It'll be a day and an hour that you have to stand eye to eye, toe to toe with them. Bullies have to be knocked off their ass. In other words, people who have been used to getting their way, bullying, doing the things that they're doing, hiding behind power, they only understand one language. They have to live and see that they can be hit. They have to live and see and experience that they too can be hit. That is the only thing that will ever get a bully's attention, to know that they are not as invincible as they thought.